In this session, we will discuss about the insects, mites, and other pests associated with the mushroom, which take the heavy toll of the crop every year. Mushroom during the different phases of mushroom cultivation, a large number of insect pests, mites, and nematodes are encountered, which take the heavy toll of the crop every year. Short duration of crop, indoor nature, and residue problem limits the liberal application of pesticides in the mushroom cultivation. Moreover, there is no insecticide which has a label claim to be used on the mushrooms. These pests, once enter in the cropping room, then it becomes very difficult to control them. Therefore, our efforts should be to prevent the entry of these pests into the cropping room at the initial stages itself, rather than relying on the pesticide in later stages. Now, there are different types of pests, mostly belonging to diphtheria. And coming to first pest, that is cereid fly. This is a very small fly, and it is just the in the size of a mosquito, and very small fly. And female fly during either say during spawning or during casing lay 100 to 150 eggs in one go. Now these eggs, depending upon the prevailing climatic conditions, hatch in 5 to 7 days. And after hatching, if there is no spawn run, they will start feeding on the compost itself. As a result, pH of the compost changes, and which ultimately hampers the spawn run. After mycelial colonization, larvae start feeding on the mycelium, and after small pinheads formation, they start feeding on the pinheads. And in case of bigger mushroom, they tunnel through this type. And if you cut the cross section, you will observe 7 to 8 larvae feeding inside the fruit body. And adults of these flies are known to transmit diseases of all mushroom diseases, for example, wet bubble, dry bubble, and all competitor molds, green mold, brown plaster mold, and other molds. Here you can see the small flies lying on the resting on the fruit bodies, and if population in the cropping room increases at a very high pace, then they create nuisance to the workers. And these are the larvae of this fly. It is up to 5 mm in length, and head is black in color. This is common identification mark for this fly. And this is single larvae up to 5 mm in size, and head is black in color. Now, for cereid flies are generally found in the cropping room when temperature is in the range of 16 to 18 degrees centigrade. And when temperature shoots beyond 18 degrees centigrade, say it is 18 to 21 degrees centigrade, then this fly invades the cropping room. This is known as phorid fly or scooter fly. These are very small humpbacked flies and move with the jerky movements. And single female is known to lay about 50 to 70 eggs on small fruit bodies, small pinheads. And in case of oyster mushroom, they lay eggs in between the gill lines, and after larva hatching, eggs hatching, larvae start feeding on the mushroom gills. And here you can see that this is a picture of single bag of button mushroom. Whole casing layer is full of the larvae of this phorid fly. And suppose in this stage, if someone applies some chemical to kill these larvae, of course these larvae will be killed. But at the same time, the applied insecticide will hamper the growth of mushroom mycelium for 5 to 6 days. Here you can see this is the slide of actively spawn run stage. This slide was sent to DMR by some growers from West Bengal. Here you can see the mycelium is colonizing, and at this stage that farmer has noticed some insects feeding on the mycelium, and he immediately sprayed some insecticide, and just after 5 to 10 minutes of this pesticide application, Here you can see the mushroom mycelium has vanished from the wheat grains. I mean, it is the adverse effect of the pesticide application. And pesticide at the same time killing insects, but it will kill the mushroom mycelium also. This is another slide. Mycelium has vanished from the food, this wheat grains. This is the larvae of fly. Here you can see head is pointed and rear end is blunt. And this morphological character is particularly for identification of this fly. This is the damaged fruit body of button mushroom by mushroom flies. Here you can see the small holes all over the fruit body. If you cut this fruit body in cross section, you will observe number of larvae feeding inside the mushroom fruit body. And this is feeding on the stipe, and they will completely eat out this type of the mushroom. And this is the feeding inside the cave fruit body. If you cut this fruit body, you will observe large number of larvae feeding inside the fruit body. This is the browning of this type. This may be due to some other reasons also. But what happens sometimes, saprophytic nematodes start feeding below the casing layer on the mushrooms. And because they don't have a stylet in their mouth, they have a wide mouth, due to which they are unable to puncture the mushroom mycelium, and due to which secondary bacteria invades the already feeding site of this nematode, and they will create brown spores. Here you can see the single fruit body of mushroom full of mushroom flies, and below you can see the large number of mushrooms are growing, and all are dead because flies larvae are feeding below the casing store, and all the peanuts are dead. So far, as far as management is concerned, we generally follow two types of control measures. One is preventive measures, and second one is curative. For example, preventive measures, first one is hygiene and sanitation. That means keeping hygiene and sanitation in and around the farms is very important to control these flies. Then treatment of compost and casing material. If you are preparing compost and casing material by other methods, say by using long method of composting, then treatment of compost is required so that pest cannot invade the compost and casing material. Then screening of doors and ventilators with nylon nets with a size of 35 to 40 mesh. Otherwise, if you use ordinary wire mesh, those which are used in households windows, these flies will then easily cross through those wire meshes. But if you use these nylon nets, then they will not cross through the mesh size. Then use of light trap. Here we use 0-watt bulb. I will show in the next slide. Then proper disposal of spent compost after taking the crop is very important to prevent the breeding of flies for the next season. This is light trap. Here you can see we have used yellow colored 0-watt bulb. This bulb is hanged on the wall, and some polythene sheet coated with some sticky material. For example, generally here we use mustard oil. It's coated on the polythene sheet, and it is hanged below the bulb. The bulb is switched on in the evening, during the evening hours, and next day you can find large number of insects sticking to the flies sticking to the trap. By this method, one can assess the population of flies in the cropping room, and without using any chemical, a number of flies can be controlled. Now this UV fly catcher, this is also used for management of mushroom flies. This trap will work only if you place it at a height of 4 to 5 feet from the ground level. If you place it on the floor, then it will not work. Then there is another species, that is Copedia. This fly remains in the mushroom house throughout the year. Here you can see the different stages, say larvae, and pupa. Pupae has thoracic horns which helps in the respiration during the pupal stage. Now, as far as curative measures is concerned, use of malathion, 0.01%, diclovos, then dasis. Generally, we use these insecticide in rotation, not on the cross. Please note that we are not recommending it to be used on the mushroom beds or bags, but to be used on the walls, galleries, floors, and in rotation. For example, in first week, you are using this malathion. In second week, then we will use this diclovos. In third week, we will use dasis, and like that. And these chemicals are these insecticides generally we use during the daytime, say after 2:30 p.m. during daytime, because during daytime females rest on the walls, and if you apply some insecticide on the walls, then females will be killed out and there will be no chances of egg laying in the bags. Also a pest of mushroom. Here you can see that single sachet is giving birth to 8 sachets, and this mode of reproduction is known as pedogenesis. Here adults are not required for the reproduction. Single larvae after its own birth, say after 5 to 6 days of its own birth, it becomes as a mother larvae and it will produce 8 larvae. Now in next time, that larvae will become, act as a mother and it will produce 8 larvae, and in this fashion they produce numerous larvae in a very short duration of time. Here you can see this was the bag of oyster mushroom fully colonized by the mushroom mycelium. When sachets invaded the mushroom bag, here you can see only weed straw is left. They have eaten out the mycelium from the weed straw and entire bag is without any mycelium. This is the damage of shiitake or damage of shiitake by sachets. They feed on the fruit bodies, and after feeding, the spot where they were feeding, it will start rotting out, and quality of fruit bodies reduce greatly. Now, as far as management of the sachets is concerned, that is Sudol. Sudol is simply a phenyl that is used for cleaning floors, galleries, and other adjoining areas. If you suspect that sachets may be present, just before putting the bags into the cropping room, wash out the floor, galleries, and walls with any kind of phenyl compound so that invasion of sachet can be prevented. Then application of chlorvin-phos, then phenethion at the rate of 1 gram active ingredient per meter square to bed surfaces immediately after spawning and before casing, or piperine granules at the rate of 50 ppm. But these mentioned insecticides, none of them had label claim to be used on the mushroom bags or beds. Only these insecticides have been tested under laboratory conditions for the control of sachets. One should choose carefully the insecticides before applying on the bags or beds. Rather, they should avoid the application of insecticides during the cropping of mushrooms. Then another group of insects that is springtails. These are microscopic and very small insects. Generally, they feed on the mushroom mycelium growing on the wheat grain spawn, and after some time you will observe that grain is without any mushroom mycelium. They will eat out the mushroom mycelium growing on the wheat grain. Then in case of bigger mushroom, they will start feeding on the roots of the button mushroom, and after some time the button mushroom will fall down. And in case of oyster mushroom, they will create holes all over the fruit body, and as the temperature rises, the population of these insects will increase very rapidly. For example, in case of this milky mushroom, we have to keep the temperature 30 to 35 degrees centigrade, and at that temperature, the population of these insects will increase rapidly. Here you can see the damage on this milky mushroom caused by the springtail. They become disformity on the growing mushrooms. Now, as far as management is concerned, proper hygiene and sanitation is very important. Then proper pasteurization of compost and casing material is very important. Crop should be raised above the floor level, means bags should be kept on some racks above the floor level. Then disinfection of composting yard and empty growing rooms with 0.05% malathion, or mixing diazonon 30 ppm in the compost at the time of filling. This was earlier recommendation. Or you can use dichromos or malathion at the rate of 0.025% to 0.05% with waiting period of 2 to 5 days. Means after application of these insecticide, one cannot consume these mushroom for 2 to 5 days. Then another group is mushroom mites. Generally, 52 types of mushrooms have been observed during the mushroom cultivation. Say during spawn run, when temperature is 24 to 25 degrees centigrade. At that time, those species of mushrooms will invade the mushroom bags, which feed on the mushroom mycelium, and they start feeding below the uh, in between the compost or at the bottom of the bags, and thereby causing very difficult to manage these mites feeding in between the compost. And during cropping time, when temperature is kept at 16 to 18 degrees centigrade, then another species of mites will attack the mushroom that will feed on the growing fruit bodies, and they will create tunnels, they will create spores and start feeding on the growing peanuts. Here you can see this is phorid fly. Here you can see the mites are clinging to the body of phorid flies, and this fly when enters into cropping room and sits on the bag, and mites are released there, and after finding optimum temperature, the mites will start breeding at a rapid pace. This is red pepper mite. The problem of this mite has been observed in those farms which are located near the dairy farms. Here you can see the mice generally remain in the colonies on the either side of the fruit body, and if you blow over these mites colony, then they will move to another side of mushroom, and place where they were sitting earlier, they will create brown spot. And due to this creation of brown spot, quality of mushroom reduces greatly. And as far as management is concerned, proper pasteurization of compost and casing material is very important, because there are some species of mites which can survive the pasteurization temperature of 59 degrees centigrade. Disinfection of mushroom houses by 0.1% dicopol before placing the bags into the cropping rooms, or burning sulfur in the empty rooms and closing the doors for 5 to 6 hours. Then cook out at 71 degrees centigrade for 2 hours. Cook out means before disposing of the crop bags. After taking the crop, one has to raise the temperature of the cropping room with the help of steam up to 71 degrees centigrade, so that immature stages of insect pest and all these stages of disease can be killed in the room itself before disposing of the bags. Then proper disposal of spent compost away from the farm in the pits is very important, and covering it with a layer of soil, because spent compost acts as a breeding ground for the mushroom pests. Then if during the cropping or some mites are observed, then diazonon 20 EC or dicopol can be used on the mushroom beds only during the flush breaks. Otherwise, if these acaricides are used during the cropping, they will hamper the growth of the mushroom mycelium, or they will indirectly affect the growing fruit bodies. This is the Hypena species feeding on the oyster mushroom. This is actually accidental pest. This is not a regular pest of mushrooms, but somehow if unit is located near the fields where maize and soybean are growing, then these pests may invade the mushroom houses also. Then coming to nematodes, there are 22 species of nematodes which have been found associated with the mushroom. In broader term journey, we encounter three types of nematodes in the mushroom beds. One is Myceliophagus, that means which feeds on the mushroom mycelium. Second is Saprophagus, which feed on the compost. And third one is predatory nematodes that feeds on the immature stages of the insect base. Now, as far as Myceliophagus nematodes are concerned, they have a needle-like stylet in their mouth, which may move rapidly forward and backward, and also they are known to secrete some enzymes. And with the help of this stylet, they puncture the cells and suck the cell content. And population of these nematodes increases very rapidly during the spawn running time. Say it may go up to 70 to 100 folds in a week. This is the damaged fruit body of Macrolepita, and in the bottom you can see the nematodes. Now these are some of the symptoms of nematodes damage. That is, mycelial growth is sparse and patchy. Then compost surface sinks. Whiteness of spawn run slowly changes to brown. Flushes are poor and delayed. Alternate high and poor yield. Decline in yield and complete crop failures. These are because nematodes are microscopic and one cannot see with the help of with the naked eyes that how much nematodes are present in the base, but only observing the symptom one can assess the nematode infestation in the mushroom beds. Now, as far as management is concerned, then strict hygiene and sanitation it is very important for nematodes as well as insect pests. That in disinfection with 2% formalin means all the equipments used for mushroom cultivation right from this compost preparation should be disinfected with 2% formalin. Then storing of composting ingredients in clean area, proper pasteurization of compost and casing material, then use of clean water for irrigating mushroom beds, control of insect pests because they act as a vector for transmitting nematodes, then effective cook out after termination of the crop. Furadon 3G at final compost turning was used earlier. The farmers were using for low method of compost, but this nematicide has been now banned, or thiazide at the rate of 80 ppm. This can be also used for the management of mushroom nematodes. Then, as far as biological methods are concerned, then incorporation of dried leaves of Azadirachta indica, that is neem, Cannabis tiba, Eucalyptus teraticornis at the rate of 3 kg per 100 kg of the straw, or neem cake at the rate of 5% on bed-to-bed basis can also be used for compost preparation. And rotation. Rotation means in first hand you are cultivating this button mushroom, after termination of crop then go for this oyster mushroom, then milky mushroom, like that. Then these are some nematode trapping fungi, for example Arthropoetis oligospora, A. superba, A. irregularis, and Candela municipal. There are commercial formulations are available for trapping the nematodes, which can be used during the cultivation of the button mushrooms. But if proper hygiene and sanitation is followed during the cultivation of mushroom crop, then there is no need to use these nematode trapping fungi also. Then during seasonal cultivation, one can also face the problem of these snails. They enter into the cropping room and start feeding on the mushroom fruit bodies and create pits all over the fruit bodies. And for management, one should dust this common salt at the entry point of this mushroom house, or one can simply put lime, dust lime at the entry points or in and around the cropping rooms. Then snails, slugs, they start feeding on these are the particular pest of the shiitake. They start feeding on this shiitake blocks and as well as on shiitake fruit bodies. Here you can see the slugs feeding on the shiitake fruit bodies. But for management of the slugs, if you properly maintain the cropping room and doors and ventilators should be closed properly, then these pests can be avoided. Then the rares venture into the cropping room to eat out the spawn grains. And in this process of this spawn grain eating, they disturb the birds badly. And during cropping also, they start feeding on the mushroom fruit bodies. Therefore, surroundings of the mushroom house should be kept neat and clean so that rats can be avoided. And one use rat repellent for this dispelling away the rats from the mushroom houses. So thank you very much. This was all about the insect pests.